Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, and today we are going to talk about some books that I need to read by the end of the year. And is it all the books that I need to read? No, but these are some specific books that I said that I was going to read or get rid of by the end of the year. Earlier this year, I had a list of about 14 books that I've had on my shelves for 5 years or more. And this was the year that I was going to read them, or I was going to unhaul them because I don't need to keep them. And so I have either read most of them or DNF'd them, and I have 4 books left. Now, I'm at a crossroads because do I really want to read all of these? Am I going to actually get to all of these by the end of the year? The chances are very low, but what I think I'm going to do is try a chapter, or maybe 2, depending on how long the chapter is, and see if I'm actually interested in reading them. You can tell a lot by the first chapter of a book, whether you may really get into it or not, whether you like the writing style. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try a chapter from each of these books and see if I want to continue on with them or if I just want to unhaul them right now. First book I have is Time and Again by Jack Finney. I know that this is about a guy who goes back in time, and for some reason, don't remember the reason. I don't know a lot about these books, especially since I've had them for over 5 years and never, bothered to pick them up. So this one is about a guy who is part of a government operation that is trying to determine if time travel is a possibility. And so he is part of this time traveling, and on one of his excursions into the past, he kind of falls in love with someone, and he has to decide whether he wants to stay in the past with this woman that he loves or, go on to the future. Then I have Choke, you probably can't see it, Choke by Chuck Palahniuk, and this is a guy who scams people by going to restaurants and pretends to choke on food so that he can get a settlement. And that's really all I know about this. To be honest, I can probably tell I'm probably not that interested in this one anymore. And then I have Lost Among the Living by Simone St. James, and I can honestly 100,000% tell you I do not know what this is about. I think it's a ghost story. I think there's a ghost in the woods, maybe. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna keep it moving. And then last I have Utopia by David Nichol. I think that this is about 2 guys that kind of stumble upon this isolated town where people are trying to make this perfect utopian society, and they uncover these really weird mysteries that are happening in this town, including some surgical procedures that are happening to the residents. This one does have me a little interested. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but that girl's eyes are blacked out, and that's creepy. And I like it. So I'm going to read a chapter 2 from each of these, and then I'm going to see if I want to read them or not. And by the end of this year. So all of the first or second chapters of these books have been read, and I have come to some decisions. 2 of them I'm going to continue reading in December, and 2 of them I'm getting rid of now. So let's talk about the ones that I'm going to keep. I am going to read Utopia by David Nichol. I will say that the first chapter was very hard. In the beginning, there is an attempted lynching of a Black doctor. It happens in Idaho in 1911, and there are these men that are trying to kill this. He's the only Black doctor in town. I think he might be the only Black person in this town, actually. to be determined. I'm interested because I want to see where this is going, because in this first chapter alone, there's the attempted lynching, but there's also at the end of it, he is saved. He does not die. And there was also a mysterious man who was also going to be lynched with him. But that person was alive, but he was dead. Like, he was alive, but he was dead. And so they're saying that this person has been in this quarantine facility and he's a secret, but who is he? And I think he might be the experiment that the town has going for it. So I'm intrigued. Now, whether I will read this whole thing, I don't know. But for sure in that first chapter, I was hooked. I almost DNF'd it right away because of what was happening at the time of when they caught the doctor, and I was just like, this is a lot. But now I am intrigued, so there's that. Utopia will be getting read in December. I'm also going to read Time and Again by Jack Finney. So in the first chapter, there's this guy. He's in his like late 20s. He's kind of just coasting through life. I want to say that this is also in the early 20th century. So one day while he's at work as an artist for, I think, a magazine, he gets approached by some mysterious man who says, let me take you out to lunch. And he's like, all right, sure. And he says, I want you to be part of this top secret US government project, but you have to re-enroll in the army. And the guy's like, I am not doing that. I'm not going back to the army. And the guy's like, I don't care what branch of the military you enlist in, but this is a top secret thing. We have been looking at you and going through your background, figuring out what your temperament is. We know all about you, and we think you would be perfect for this top secret project. And so the guy is intrigued, as am I, because I want to know what this top secret project is, even though I know that the top secret project is a time exploration project. But he doesn't know that, and I don't even know how he gets to know that. And now I need to know. I am curious, especially because I'm like, you have lunch with some stranger and then he says, I want you to be part of some top secret government project. And then you're like, yes, all right, sure. And that's what happens. He's like, yeah, I guess so, by the end of the first chapter. And so I need to know more. And so on to the books that I will not be reading. The first is Lost Among the Living. I read the first 2 chapters and I just was not into it. This woman's husband dies, and so now she's the companion for his aunt, and the aunt seems terrible. They're going back to this family home that they have, and she never knew that her husband lived at this home. I think that there's supposed to be some ghost roaming. I feel like I was trying to fight sleep reading this, and that's never a good sign. And so maybe one day I'll pick it back up from the library, maybe not, and read it that way. But as for now, I'm going to unhaul this. And then the last book is going to be Choke. I've had this on my shelves forever, like honestly, way more than the 5 years than I've had some of these other books. And I'm just not into it. In fact, the first couple of lines told me not to read this book. It said, if you're going to read this, don't bother. After a couple of pages, you won't want to be here. So forget it. Go away. Get out while you're still in one piece. Save yourself. There has to be something better on television. And I think that they're right, because I read it and the first chapter was giving me major dude bro, and I didn't like it. And I could feel like the main character is just going to feel sorry for himself. The whole first chapter is basically about how he has like this encounter when he's a child. His mother is always in and out of prison. Whenever she comes out of prison, she goes to get him, and then they are on some really random major escape plan, running away from like local officials for some reason. And he's just along for the ride because he's a 7-year-old boy in a stupid dumb sweater. That's what he says. I didn't make that up. Yeah, I just, I've never read Fight Club, but I imagine that people who liked Fight Club would also like this. And I've seen the movie Fight Club, and that was enough for me. I saw it like once and I was good on that. And so that's where we are, DNFing it. So those are the books that I will be continuing or unhauling. And if you think that maybe I should give a second chance to one of the books that I'm unhauling, let me know if you've read them and you're like, hey, you're good on that. Also let me know. Or the ones that I am going to read, if you've ever read it and you're just like, don't do it to yourself, let me know, because I would really rather spend my December reading delicious holiday romances and just getting all the warm and fuzzies from that. But that's what I have for you guys for today. And until next time, bye.